Hi there, friends. I'm Vasco. I'm part of the team behind the first global Scrum Master Summit. If you're a Scrum Master, the Scrum Master Summit is a place to learn, to share, and to meet new friends. We will have lots of live sessions where you can meet and network with other Scrum Masters from all over the globe. So make sure you check it at bit.ly/SM Summit and the numeral 21. That's bit.ly/SMSUMMIT21. We have 7 amazing keynotes or more, as we are still organizing the conference as I record this, and 8 tracks that feature people like you and thought leaders sharing their insights and knowledge to help you become an awesome Scrum Master. So once again, check it out at bit.ly/SM Summit 21. That's all lowercase, all one word, SM Summit and the numeral 21. I'll see you on the virtual conference floor. All right, now on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our TGIF episode, also Product Owner episode, this week with Ines Garcia. Hi, Ines. Welcome back.
Hello. Happy Friday.
Absolutely. Happy Friday, everybody. So let's start with what might have been, Ines, in your own experience, potentially the worst product owner anti-pattern that you've witnessed.
Well, I'm going to call that product owner the busy, bossy puppet. So no time for being present, for decisions, for empathy, for care. So bossy stands for do this now and do it this way. Very command and control. And puppet is for them, they excuses. So unable to, or I'll challenge, unwilling to help us moving forward tangibly. So the story goes like this. The bossy puppet would last minute not show up to planning and most often wasn't seen in retro, would come with demands without listening ears, like George Judy will ask. Honestly, there was more to the story for this behavior. In this example, we did some work at the product owner and the leadership level as well, so we could craft a common understanding and direction. So, for example, one of the things that we used was, I don't know how to call it, maybe a evidence board where you have very clear purpose outlined with different areas and different personas of focus in terms of customers or the users for the product. And that can be, again, in anything that is visual and easy accessible. I use a lot Miro nowadays, but don't get stuck into tools, whatever you have at hand. And that thing basically becomes a tangible artifact that anybody can refer back. It becomes like a information radiator. And that helps us, even that the busy bossy puppet wasn't there, we as a team could refer back and we could help conversations to go back to the decisions and the purpose and say, okay, well, does this serve our purpose? Does this serve our goals? Yes, no. So that helped the team.
Absolutely. Do you have any tips on how to organize that visualization? Because that's also one of the major obstacles, right? I mean, deciding to visualize, it's sometimes hard, but maybe not so hard. But like how to go about it? Like what tips did you use in that particular scenario?
So we draw a clear statement of the purpose at, let's say, top left, if you think about the board. Then we had a list of people that we could ask things from, especially if our busy bossy puppet wasn't there. And it's basically a list of more traditionally you call it stakeholders, so people that cares, they have a stake in the thing that you're building. And then we'll have theoretical personas, so different customers that you're serving with. And then towards the right, we use story mapping boards. So it's a little narrative about per each one of your personas. So if you're serving mainly maybe your partners and you're expanding a section of the product to serve your partners. So you will go through the motions of maybe for your partners to add a new a new deal or something like that. So it's a narrative that takes you through the steps from the user perspective, where you can organize which kind of actions are more important or not. So I think those are kind of the main areas. I think it's also important to plot somewhere, maybe at the right, things that you learn through the process, or things that work or doesn't work, because we can all make plans. Planning is indispensable, right? But learning as we go is what makes the difference for successful products.
Yeah, absolutely. And enabling the learning through creating this, hopefully, forever updated product board might be a very important task for Scrum Masters, especially when we need, and we know we need, to improve and develop the relationship with the product owner. Of course, today we don't only talk about bad product owners, we also talk about great product owners. So, Ines, share with us what might have been potentially the best product owner you've ever worked with.
So sort of the contrary. So far, couple years ago, I'll say I worked with a team that had a brilliant product owner. He had the traits of being present. So we'll ensure he was available for all ceremonies and prepare. We did quite a lot of zoom in and zoom out work to bring context to the team. With that, I mean, everybody will have that visual vision of the direction of the product, which really help to develop with that horizon in mind. So every now and then, we get so stuck into specific stories or specific tickets or specific things. So taking a step back and looking how that product fits with the vision, or even going further zoom out and seeing how that plots with the rest of the efforts of the organization. It was really, really helpful and very interesting to see, how we all chipping into that purpose. And aside of that, being present. So he was also perky, meaning, cheerful, lively, bubbly, and meaning well, and will jump into whatever to get us going and energizing everyone doing so. And the last but not least, he was persuasive, just to continue with the P adjective, right? So he had a way to convey agreement, extremely good at explaining things and gearing into a direction to action. So being with powerful questions, or finding common interest, or investing time and care to know and link each other's effort, made access to information so easy, like no friction. Anybody could, be reaching those zooming in and zooming out. And I think the outcome of that was that we had to deliver a proof of concept for a new chatbot, which was embedded into their live chat. And we had to do this within a quarter. And instead of that, we were live with 3 chatbots in 1 month. And I think the above traits of being present, perky and persuasive, and the tools had a lot to do with it. It really helped us to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I'm really interested to learn a little bit more about is what were the approaches that this product owner used, besides, of course, the resourceful personality that they might already have, but what were the tools, the resources that the product owner used to bring that energy to the team? I think you called it being perky, right? So how did that happen? Like in practice, like how did that person bring energy to the team?
So just thinking back, he would, I don't know if to call it an icebreaker, but he will always start a conversation being very human. So asking how everybody was, and even saying something that just happened to him. I think he was just bringing people in a safe space where anybody can be saying anything and asking anything. And sharing anything to anybody. He was also really funny, so he will just find humor in things that we were doing or in the challenges that we were having. And also connections, incredibly good at connecting not only each other's efforts and the different products, but as well with other teams. So often we will have guests into conversations, so we will be invited because he found a way to get us connected with somebody else. So some simple things, but I think it make a big difference for everybody to understand their input was wider than just our team.
Yeah, absolutely. This being human, although that person might have done it intuitively and without thinking, many of us can learn to do it, right? So things like starting the conversation with genuinely being interested with, how things are. Like today, before we started recording, I asked you, how's the pandemic situation in London? Because of course it's in everybody's mind. It's also on my mind. I'm thinking about that and worrying about that every day. But it's important because it when we work together, when we do things together, we are first and foremost, we are people, right? We're not machines.
Yes, we are people and we are not machines. And I think that's something to keep in mind when we're talking about the different things that we do, or why asking people about their interest and their input is also very important. I think, things needs to surface for making, sounds maybe too romantic, but making the world a better place. Everybody gets out of bed to chip in into something that no one else could do. So boring things, I always say, like, boring things that sometimes we get into business unusual, let's just automate them, get boring things out the way so that our day is meaningful. Life is too perishable otherwise.
Yeah, focus on making our day meaningful. That's a great tip, and also a great way for us to end this week with you, Ines. It's been a pleasure. But before we go, do share with us, where can we find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
Well, I think social media should be quite easy. I'm in Twitter, Inesca Pinezca. I'll send you the link, and also Ines Garcia Agile in LinkedIn. Those will be quite easy ways to reach out.
Absolutely. We'll put the links to those on the show notes, and also to Ines's book, of course, that for those of you starting with teams or even working with Salesforce might be a great read. Ines, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you so much for having me. It is an incredible resource, so thank you, Vasco, for the work that you do.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over. But there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. Join us at scrummastertoolbox.com/podcast and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more week full of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.